Seriously, little guy? Come on. everybody, another weekend upon us, another opportunity to go camping. I'm back out at Barefoot Camp this weekend, just enjoying the river. It's been up, which is nice. A lot of bass are flowing. It's a little muddy because they've been getting a lot of rain out here, so there's a lot of washout into the river, but it's still nice to be able to enjoy a little bit of water activity when it's so hot. I think next week it's supposed to be around 105 down here, so it's going to get pretty toasty. But really, just wanted to share some experiences of late, specifically a couple things. One, I want to talk about the e-bike, which you guys have seen a couple other videos about this. The one I did on the review when I first got it got a lot of hits, so thanks for everybody that's been viewing the videos. It's really meant a lot to me because it encourages me to keep making these videos for you guys. The other thing I want to talk about is the Zero Breeze. Now that the weather's finally warming up, and I've been out here, I got to test out the new caps. So just to recap what's changed on the trailer prior to the end of last year. So they, Off-Grid Trailers originally ships these trailers with like these louver type caps that sit on top of here and have little bitty holes in them. Well, the Zero Breeze AC unit struggles to pull air in and out with those attached. So what they've now started doing is shipping them with these caps, which basically just creates a giant hole. You just take these off when you want to use the AC, and it's supposed to improve the performance. And for the most part, it has. I've noticed a marked difference between last year and this year. Last night, when I went to bed, it was about 89 degrees inside the cabin. And what I've seen in the past from the Zero Breeze is it'll kick off cool and then it'll just start to warm up. And it's because it can't get enough air circulated through the compressor to cool the place down. Well, with these caps, I've noticed that it stayed around 72, 71, almost down to like 69, 68 degrees from an air perspective. So it took a while, but it does eventually cool down the trailer. I'm looking forward to an upgraded version of the Mark II. I know there's one coming and it's supposed to be twice the BTUs. When that happens, I think that'll probably be the sweet spot for these trailers. But for now, I've been able to test it in warm climate, and it does seem to have a better performance than it did last year when I had the different caps on it. My understanding also is that they have actually made these a little bigger now. So when you get a new trailer from Off-Grid, I think it's about an inch bigger hole. I think that was on the request of Zero Breeze to make these 2-inch holes. And that's supposed to also increase the performance. Of course, I have an older model, so mine doesn't have that. But again, the caps seem to work pretty well for it. So for those of you that are interested in learning about the Zero Breeze, it is a portable AC unit that is battery operated. So it has giant lithium batteries that you plug into, so it doesn't have to draw power from your batteries on your trailer. It's a 2300 BTU system, so it's not designed for cooling down a complete room. But you know, if you're cooling down a tent or you're cooling down something the size of this cabin, it can do a pretty good job of taking care of that, which is nice. So it's just an option. In some cases, people just turn the fan on inside, the max fan, and reverse it, open the windows, and you get a nice breeze coming in. That helps cool things down as well. I have found that from a process perspective, what I do is a couple hours before I'm going to bed, I'll turn the fan on and kind of ventilate it to get all the heat out of the cabin first. And so by the time I go to bed, it's as cool as it can be before I start using the AC unit. The AC doesn't have to work as hard to cool things down when you do it that way versus just jumping into a 106-degree cabin and expecting it to cool things down. The other thing about these that people have to be aware of is that they are only guaranteed to drop the temperature by about 15 degrees. So if you're expecting a miracle and you're expecting something to be like a 30-degree drop, it's not going to get you there. So if it's 108 inside, you're still going to be in the 90s trying to sleep. So don't expect too much from these things when it comes to their power, but it's better than nothing when you consider the alternative, right? Sweating and trying to sleep hot. So that's that. But anyway, if you have any questions about the Zero Breeze, let me know. I've been using it now for a couple of years, and I've gained a lot of experience about what the thing can and can't do. But on to the e-bike. So as you guys know, I did a video reviewing the e-bike when I first got it, and it seemed to be a pretty popular video. I have since taken this thing out. I've done a 20-mile ride with a friend of mine. He's got an Aventon bike. It was kind of neat to see the two types of bikes and one over the other. And then I brought it out here to Barefoot Camp to do more trail work. And so I've been riding the trails and stuff for the last couple of days. And it's been an interesting experience. I've really enjoyed it. It definitely adds more mobility to come into camp, so you don't have to hike everywhere. You can just take a bike to where you want to go. It's quiet, so running up on the trails, you don't have to worry about disturbing people that might be camping nearby. But the only gotcha with this thing is that the front suspension, it can be locked out. So if you're on the road, you can lock it to where it doesn't, articulate as much. But when you're doing trails, you do want it to articulate. But what I have found is that all of the shock from this front goes up through the handlebars and into your arms and into your elbows. And if you're young, that's not a problem. But if you're an older person, kind of like I am, I noticed it. When I got back from the trails, my elbows were kind of sore because all that shock goes straight up into the handlebars. So just something to be aware of on these things, that they are kind of a bruiser. Even with all the suspension systems, it can still, you know, be a little difficult from an activity perspective to not get injured when you're riding these things. Other than that, it's an extremely stable bike. It's got all the power I could ever want. It gets me from here to there. It does everything I need it to. I actually have ridden this thing at night, so having a brake light on the back and a headlight in the front is actually a pretty neat little feature. That way I have better visibility when I'm out on the road. About the only problem I've had with this bike, and I don't know if I talked about this in any of my reviews, is the rack. So when I first got this thing, they actually have two little silver brackets, a bracket here and a bracket on the other side. And you're supposed to take those brackets off and then reattach the rack. Well, unfortunately at the factory, they over torqued the screw on this side and they bent it. So getting the screw out actually was problematic, and it's actually stripped the head. I don't know if you guys can see that there, but it stripped the head off the screw. So I'm gonna have to take this into a bike shop and have them drill that out and re-tap it before I can actually use the rack. So I don't know if that's just one of those quality control issues, but nothing else about the bike has been an issue. It's just that one piece. And fortunately, it doesn't impede the ability for the bike to be usable. So it's kind of annoying. Can't use a rack until I get that fixed, but that's coming soon. I've got a bike guy on standby, and I'll be bringing it in next week to get that fixed. So I'd love to hear your comments on these bikes, though. I know some people say that the build quality is kind of poor on them, like the motors have issues over time. I have not seen much in the way of reports like that. So if you have, if you've got sources on that, that'd be good to see kind of when it happened. Did it happen immediately? Was it something over time? And what did customer service do to help you guys with this? Because so far, customer service has been really cool with me. When they found out that screw got over torqued, they're willing to pay for the service to get it fixed. So all I have to do is show them the invoice and they'll credit me. So it's nice to know that they've got my back in that sense. But this is a relatively small bike company, so you're going to have little issues like that. I mean, even the off-grid trailers, you know, as awesome as these trailers are, have little nuances about them. So you're never getting anything 100% perfect. But if there's something more major about this, I'd really like to hear that, because I have not seen anybody talk about how these things can break down on you. So anyway, hope everybody's doing great. Hope you're out enjoying the outdoors. It's going to start getting hot down here, so get out while you can before everything starts to turn brown, because right now everything's still green. So hope everybody's staying safe. Hope you're all doing well. Look forward to making my next video for you. Thanks, everybody.